Now we're ready to go back and work on the feet. First thing we'll do is double click our range slider so that our start time is now 1 and our end time 380, the duration of our animation. Then we'll bring back our control curves, and since we'll be working on the feet now, let's work on bringing those back too. So we'll go to our GUI and unhide the feet. Then we can hide our GUI now and also bring back the control curves for the feet. Great. So now we'll just go from frame 1 and hit play to get a feel of what we need to work on for the feet. And as we can see, they're just sliding all over the place. Oh no, it's going to be impossible. I'm just playing. Though it may seem a little daunting, believe me, it's not, and we'll get the feet looking great in no time. So let's start our playback, and we'll adjust our range slider to our first section. Just like with the upper body, we'll be breaking the feet down in sections, and our first section is going to be, let's bring it to about frame 200. So it may seem like a big chunk, but the feet should pretty much be planted throughout most of this time here. Okay? And now we'll begin working on this first part. So we'll hit play, and notice how the feet are just sliding forward when actually we want the character to first land and then the feet to come up afterward once the character settles a little bit more. So let's work on that. What we want to do is select the knee controls, then the feet controls, so we can also get to their channels, because we'll need to key the raised ball, raised toe, and heel pivot and side to side foot. Okay. But first, on frame 1, what we'll do is middle mouse button click and add a moving hold on frame 10. So we'll press Shift W and Shift E there, and we'll also go to the raised ball, raised toe channel, the heel pivot channel, and the side to side foot channel. So now we get a moving hold from frames 1 to 10, and here's what we get when we hit play. Okay, so the feet are looking better, but they still need to be delayed for a little bit longer, because the character should settle for just a brief span of time, just some more, and then the feet come up after that. So we'll take this key on frame 10, and we'll also add this key on frame 23 in our selection, and let's move it down some so that our first key now lies on frame 24 and our last on frame 37. So we'll hit play. Great, that's better, but another thing is that the feet are coming up a little bit too slow. So let's adjust that. Remember, the character is going to be, he's a little bit vigorous. So we'll need to keep that in mind, his personality. So we'll just move up the key on frame 37 about 3 spaces so that the feet come up faster, and we hit play. Great, that's better. Awesome. So before we get into the steps, what we want to do now is just work on having the feet planted as long as they should be. Okay? And throughout this time, when the character's lifting up the weight, there's no way his feet should be moving like as they should be right now. Okay? So we're going to work on having a moving hold all the way through about frame 187. So by the time the character springs up, his feet will go into the pose that we've placed on frame 196. Okay, so we'll go to frame 34 and middle mouse button click on frame 187, and we could deselect the knees right now. Just worry about the feet, and we'll press Shift W and Shift E, and we'll also go ahead and key our channels here: the raised ball, raised toe, heel pivot, and side to side foot to lock their position. And notice now the feet are now planted as they should be. And when we scrub past, watch the movement we get. Awesome. Now the feet are springing up for when the character hops up to throw that weight up. And we can even hit play to see how it looks. Great, that's much better. Okay, so before we finish off this lesson, let's work on adjusting the knees. Because notice how they are intersecting a little bit with the bar, so we'll want to fix that. Okay, so in order to do that, what we want to do is just isolate the movement of the pose that we added on frame 149, where the knees come out when the barbell's coming up, and we'll isolate the movement starting at about frame 139. Okay. So we'll go to frame 34, make sure we have both knee controls selected, and middle mouse button click on frame 139 so the movement will start there, and press Shift Shift W. And notice as the barbell's coming back, the knees are going back as they should. Okay, then we need to add another moving hold where the knees stay in the position where they're at now when they're back, all the way until about the time where the character springs up. So for that, let's take this key on frame 149 and let's go to about frame 183 and press Shift W there so that the knees will be at that position throughout that time. And then we want them moving back when the character springs up. So we'll take this key on frame 139 and middle mouse button click on 187 and press Shift W. So now watch what we get. Now the knees come in when the character springs up as they should. Awesome, and we could even hit play to check out the movement we're getting. Great. Okay, so now one last thing we just need to do is adjust this pose on frame 149 as to prevent the knees from interpenetrating as they are. So we'll do that. We'll go to frame 149 and just spread out the knees a little bit more. Okay, and as the character's going down, notice we're still getting some interpenetrating. So from this frame 181, let's middle mouse button click on frame 183 just so we can see how much we need to move the knees to adjust them. So just move them back a little bit more here. Great. So when we scrub through, here's what we get. And even if we hide our nerves curves and just do a playback, we can see what we've worked on, what adjustments we made for this lesson. Great. So with these things done, that wraps up this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll work on the first steps.